Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 31 based on novel. So let's start. Tell me where the girl is. I promise to keep your soul. The remaining poison old ghost stared at Xiao Yan with his eyes full of greed. He looked a little ferocious. His distorted face was even more frightening at the moment. Xiao Yan frowned when he heard Yu Du's words. He thought that the old ghost of Yu Du was asking himself about Liana. Is it difficult? Does Liana's misfortune poison have anything to do with Duozong? The change of Xiao Yan's look is naturally reflected in the eyes of the shrewd old ghost. Seeing Xiao Yan's look, he dares to be sure that the little girl he has been looking for must know her whereabouts. The remaining poison could not help wiping a cold smile on the corner of his mouth, which looked extremely strange and cold. Then his slightly transparent palm slowly lifted up, and then he waved it suddenly, turned his palm into a claw, and stood upright in front of Xiao Yan. 5 dry but unparalleled fingers made Xiao Yan's face crack, and a little red blood spread. In the dry wind, Xiao Yan looked like a killer walking through the sea of blood, and his body was filled with hostility. Seeing such a scene, the Lord of the Three Halls standing behind the old ghost of the remaining poison could not help but frown. What the old ghost of Yu Poison said earlier naturally fell into the ears of the Lord of the Third Hall. However, the Lord of the Third Hall really didn't remember the little girl that the old ghost of Yu Poison said. You know, since Xiao Yan came to Yuanwu mainland, he has always been pursued by the 3 hall leaders and others. If there is such a prominent little girl around, they must know. But today's scene makes him think again and again. Unexpectedly, the old ghost has something to hide from him and wants to plot against him secretly. He really has ulterior motives. However, after the Third Hall Lord noticed the strong greed in the eyes of the remaining poison old ghost, his puzzled look suddenly changed, as if he thought of something. He couldn't help but pass a look of surprise in his eyes looking at Xiao Yan. Hey. How? As long as you tell me where the little girl is now, I can leave a trace of soul for you today. Today's misunderstanding between you and me will end here. I'll take my Yangguan road and you cross your single wooden bridge. It won't matter in the future. Feeling the unprecedented danger in front of him, Xiao Yan couldn't help trembling in his heart. He wouldn't say about Liana. Xiao Yan can grow to this extent. His experience is old and spicy, which is comparable to some real old monsters. Yu Poison's words are full of loopholes in Xiao Yan's eyes. What's the difference between keeping a wisp of his soul and directly erasing him? At most, it's just to let him struggle for a moment in this world. This guy is determined not to give himself a chance to live. It's more vicious than killing him directly. These, with Xiao Yan's character, how can they give in? Better be a hero than a coward. Before a great disaster, life and death are not afraid. This is the real reason why Xiao Yan can grow to such a point. Thinking of this, Xiao Yan's heart also raised a heroic spirit of Ling Qian. The momentum in his eyes coagulated, a flash of essence flashed, and his eyes looking at the remaining poison old ghost became more and more fierce. With a flash in his eyes, the crack in the corner of his eye made Xiao Yan's eyes tremble. Although this scene was not conspicuous, it was also reflected in his eyes by the old ghost of residual poison. Even if the old ghost of residual poison gave a sneer in his heart. Hey, as expected, the stronger your strength is, the more afraid you are of death. Jie, as long as you Xiao Yang orders to join my hand today, I think you have to explain it obediently. The remaining poison made the old ghost's mind move, and the powerful soul force in his body condensed again between his fingers, and Ling Li's momentum soared again. This time, Xiao Yang's facial features were distorted under this strength. Jie, Xiao Yang, Emperor Yang, I don't know what you want. As long as you can tell me where the little girl is now, I can keep your soul alive today. Let you recover your body again. The remaining poison old ghost's eyes suddenly became sharp. With a wave of his claws, the space in front of Xiao Yang suddenly burst, and the dark and deep endless void makes people feel a cold feeling of swallowing. It seems that once he enters, he will never come out alive. Xiao Yan's face changed slightly when he saw this. At the moment, he was suppressed by the three hall masters with all his strength, and the power of the heavy spirit domain poured out. Even Xiao Yan can't have the power to return to heaven at the moment. If the remaining poison old ghost really attacked him, I'm afraid he would really step into the door of life and death today. The change of Xiao Yang's complexion obviously satisfied the old ghost. What he wanted to see was the frightened look on Xiao Yang's face. As long as he was like this, he would be more playful and cheerful. He wanted Xiao Yang to lose all the dignity of the semi-imperialist strong. Xiao Yang gradually calmed down. It seems that the old ghost of Yu Poison just wants to play with himself, but Xiao Yang can't be manipulated by others. He immediately turned his face, looked at the old ghost of Yu Poison with a sneer and said, "It seems that you dare not really kill me." The old ghost of the remaining poison turned slightly and snorted coldly. His dry palm grabbed Xiao Yang's neck and suddenly closed. Xiao Yang's face was already red, but he was still not afraid to look at the old ghost of the remaining poison. Hum. With a cold hum, the old ghost loosened his palm and took it away from Xiao Yang's neck. Then he said in a cold voice, "You are brave enough to provoke me." Xiao Yang smiled when he heard the speech, coughed and gasped for a while, and his red face gradually faded. He ignored the cold words of the old ghost of the remaining poison, stared at the old ghost of the remaining poison, sneered, and said, "Since you want to get something from me, I can naturally let you do something for me. I say yes." The old ghost's eyes narrowed slightly. Naturally, he knew why Xiao Yang said this. At the moment, he was subject to Chongling domain and said this, but wanted him to take the initiative to the three halls behind him. When the third hall lord heard Xiao Yang's words, he couldn't help but be a little surprised. His face also became ugly. The remaining poison old ghost dared to fight him. Residual poison, old ghost. Xiao Yang is a great enemy of you and me. At the moment, I managed to control him. If you change your mind at this time, don't say me. I'm afraid you and I are going to lose our lives here today. At the critical moment, the third hall lord also couldn't help shouting at the remaining poison old ghost, hoping to let him start with Xiao Yang first. After all, he didn't want his plan to kill two birds with one stone to be broken by Xiao Yang. After hearing the words of the third hall lord, the old ghost of the remaining poison also moved slightly in his heart. Xiao Yang's combat power was personally experienced. Not to mention that he was at this time, Xiao Yang with different fire protection at his peak. He was determined not to be an opponent. Now, he naturally doesn't want to miss such a good opportunity, but the jade pendant on Xiao Yang's chest is really tempting him. The little girl, others may not know, but he came out of Dui Zone, how can he know? That little girl will make him a real strong man. At that time, don't say Duozong. I'm afraid it's even a strong force. In the face of him, I have to weigh one or two. One side is vitality and the other is strength. You can't have both. Today, he can only choose one. The old ghost narrowed his eyes into a line and looked at Xiao Yang. Then he glanced at the Lord of the Three Halls with Yu Guang. If one of them is alive, it will be a great trouble for him. If he wants to live, the two people beside him must die today. There was a cruel look in his eyes. Two powerful semi-imperialists asked him, who was almost seriously injured, to criticize life and death. Why not? It is an opportunity for him. You can't have both fish and bear's paw? Jia, I want to try today. Can I have both? The eyes looked at Xiao Yang with pity, and then stared at the three hall lord behind him with the rest of the corner of his eyes. The poison old ghost licked the dry lips with his tongue and sneered at Xiao Yang. Yang Emperor Xiao Yang, Jia, sorry, I still choose to survive. After all, without life, what's the use of that strength? Before the words fell, Xiao Yang's face became dignified. The remaining poison old ghost made it clear that he was going to kill him. The third hall lord standing behind the old ghost of the remaining poison heard what the old ghost of the remaining poison said, but he couldn't help laughing. As long as Xiao Yang broke down, no one in this Yangluo city can fight against him today. On the other side, without waiting for Xiao Yang to act, the terrible finger of the remaining poison old ghost was pointing to Xiao Yang's eyebrows. At the same time, a slightly hoarse sound of violent drinking came from the mouth of the remaining poison old ghost. Poison finger. While the old ghost drank the remaining poison, behind him was a thin palm, which suddenly bombarded the chest of the three hall masters behind him. This seemingly ordinary palm, but at the moment it was waved, the whole world was shocked, and the void was broken in an instant. The three people were all around for 100 miles and turned into nothingness. The semi-imperial strongman is really strong. Even if he is seriously injured, he can still attract the power of heaven and earth. If he is really worthy of being the real top strongman in the mainland. The face of the third hall lord had already turned into a surprised look at the moment when the palm hit. Unexpectedly, the old ghost dared to attack him, but the time had passed. It was too late to act at this time. Coupled with the control of the heavy spirit domain, it was impossible for him to escape. Therefore, he could only stand and watch the arrival of the blow. In just a moment, the finger of the remaining poison old ghost had come to Xiao Yan. The strong wind made Xiao Yan's long hair fly continuously. Xiao Yan's eyes were not confined, as if waiting for the arrival of the moment of death. Really, that's the only way. Xiao Xian's ancestors, Zuna, Cai Lin. Unexpectedly, it's just that I've just arrived in a different world, so soon, I'm going to leave you completely. At this time, Xiao Yan could not help but feel a touch of bitterness in his heart. It was even more difficult to describe his reluctance to give up Zuna and Kailin. In addition, he was guilty about Xiao Xian. Bang! A burst bang, above the sky, in the dark and deep darkness, two figures flew upside down, and then they fell into the endless abyss with a heavy sound and disappeared. On the horizon, in the endless void, two figures flew backwards and crossed in mid-air. Then they fell into the vast abyss, and disappeared in a flash. In the void, a circle of forest white flame ripples spread out. Wherever you pass, even this endless void, you can't help trembling. You can see its power. In the middle of the flame ripples, a young man with scars and red blood all over his body was stunned and based on the void. The look on his face was a little dull because of the sudden change. It was not until more than a decade later that the man's eyes suddenly burst out a bright light for the rest of his life. Jiu Lao, you did it. But you didn't say. This man is Xiao Yang, who was just about to be instructed by the residual poison old ghost. If that guidance, Xiao Yang will be terrified and completely dissipated between heaven and earth. But looking like this, it seems to be saved by Dio. Without waiting for Xiao Yang's words to come out, Jiu took over the words, curled his lips, snorted, and said inexplicably. Don't be so happy, boy. I'm not in the mood to save you. I just don't like that kid, so I'll teach him a lesson. But the body of the half-emperor, in front of me, is a little thing that can't even be regarded as a mole ant. I dare to speak so wildly and despise our different fire bodies. I really think I can't pinch it with mud. Xiao Yang was warm in his heart when he heard the speech. Although Jiu said so, if it wasn't for saving Xiao Yang, how could he do it in such a critical situation? These words were just an excuse for him. Old Bone, thank you. Xiao Yang took a warm smile from the corner of his mouth and thanked Jiu in his heart. However, he was fooled by Jiu with a light hum. Xiao Yan smiled and stopped talking, but turned his eyes to the endless abyss directly below him. Jiu's strike was strong, but the purpose was not to kill the old ghost of the remaining poison, but to fly it. That's all. After all, Tuo gave up the order of the ancient emperor, but he was determined not to violate it. Although he had been violated by his previous behavior. Jiu made a strong move, and the heavy spirit domain that has been severely suppressing Xiao Yang was also broken by the cold fire of Jiu Ling. In front of Jiu and other strength, it seems to Xiao Yang that it is a very difficult heavy spirit domain, which is just a toy and can be broken in a moment. At this time, under the endless abyss, the shadow of the remaining poison old ghost and the three-hall lord was also difficult to suspend in the dark void. The body of the old ghost of the remaining poison, which had been constantly emptied, looked like nothing at the moment after being hit by the blazing bone spirit cold fire of Guyo. I'm afraid it would be difficult to see its body shape if it weren't for the dim fluorescent light and endless darkness on its body surface. Compared with the remaining poison old ghost, although the situation of the three-hole lord is slightly better, it is obviously not much better. The black robe has been turned into nothingness by the cold fire of the bone spirit. The thick black fog around the body has also become grey at the moment. You can see a withered and thin body like several corpses in there. The strange mask covering the face is also missing, revealing a withered face. A pair of dark old eyes are like embedded in the depths of the eyes. The thin face looks like only a skull. Just now, what is it? Did Xiao Yan's strange fire break out? Or did he use the lotus of Buddha's anger? The shadowy old eyes seemed to be closed. The three-hole lord's eyes stared at the void space in front of him. The towering anger in his heart twisted the space. The withered palm of the main trunk of the three-hole stroked from a corner of his chin. There was a deep wound, but it was also suppressed by the three-hole lord. Residual poison, old devil, you are really impatient. How dare you plan on me? I've brought me to such a bad end. Today, even if I give everything, I will surely take you too. Residual poison, old ghost, today, I'll show you what I can do to stop the door. On the horizon, Xiao Yan's tight body finally softened after a quarter of an hour. He sat down in the void, breathing heavily in his mouth, his tight muscles suddenly relaxed, and sweat rushed out from the pores of his body like a spring, making Xiao Yan's wounds come out in bursts of heartfelt pain. Let Xiao Yan can't help taking a breath. Take several Jurpine Huichi pills quickly. Xiao Yan's body sits in the void, and the internal burning formula moves rapidly. In an instant, the whole heaven and earth changes color, and the energy of heaven and earth appears from the void like blocking the sky and the sun. It sweeps the whole sky like a cloud. Over Xiao Yan's head, a dragon scroll with a width of 100 feet injects the vast energy of heaven and earth. It flows into Xiao Yan like a meteor waterfall. However, it's a pity that even with the towering power of the outside world, when the energy of heaven and earth enters Xiao Yan's body, it is just like a stream. It's a drop in the bucket. It's impossible for Xiao Yan to recover quickly in a short time. In the endless abyss, the remaining poison old ghost looked at the three-hole lord in front of him with a dignified face. His increasingly weakened soul made him look weaker at the moment. What, do you want to deal with me? The old ghost of the remaining poison watched the lord of the three holes warily. After a long time, he just gave a cold hum and said in a cold voice. The lord of the third hole also couldn't help but hook his mouth, show a cold smile, give a cold hum in his mouth, stare at the remaining poison old ghost in his eyes, and sneer. Why, I just attacked me secretly. Now I want to get rid of my hand and be a nobody. The old ghost of the remaining poison smiled coldly when he heard the speech. He had expected that the lord of the third hall would say so. As soon as the voice of the lord of the third hall fell, the old ghost of the remaining poison directly sneered and replied. Jie, since you have ulterior motives for me, it's not impossible for me to warn you first. Warning, what a warning. Since you want to say that I have evil intentions towards you, I will show you today. What do I mean to you? Before the words fell, the lord of the three halls had collected all the black fog around him in an instant, and then closed the dry palms in front of his chest. The palms changed rapidly, and cumbersome printing formulas were quickly sacrificed, making invisible ripples on the space in front of him. When the old ghost of the remaining poison saw this, his dignified face became as pale as paper at the moment. When he looked at the three-hall lord, he was as frightened as hell. Maybe others don't know what the three-hall masters are doing at the moment, but his remaining poison is from the central forces. He naturally knows this secret method, which is also the central forces. The soul-swallowing formula is the inner door skill of the ghost gate. Its biggest feature is that it can forcibly devour the souls of others and maximize its noumenon strength into its own body. Although this skill has great anti-swallowing effect, it can be regarded as the last desperate plan. At this moment, the three-hall lord is obviously ready to forcibly devour the soul of the remaining poison old ghost. He wants to add it to the body to deal with Xiao Yan. In this way, he not only killed the remaining poison old ghost, but also took Xiao Yan. Even if he ended up with serious injuries, As long as he can take Xiao Yan back, the third Hall Lord is sure that his strength will not only heal, but also his strength status, but also rise in the water in the sect. In this way, how can he not fight for everything? Are you really crazy? For a Xiao Yan, you dare to use such a destructive skill? You really want to die? At this moment, the old ghost of the remaining poison also became very frightened. Obviously, the Lord of the Three Halls didn't scare him. If he continued, his old life today would really be explained here. As soon as the remaining poison old ghost clenched his teeth, his face showed a ferocious color. He quickly lifted his hands and stood in front of the Three Hall Lord. His heart was moved. It was also the same seal formula that was quickly sacrificed by him. When the old ghost of the remaining poison changed the formula in his hand, all the soul power of the old ghost of the remaining poison was collected into his body, condensed rapidly and tightly for a moment, and turned into a shining bead the size of an egg. This bead is the source of the soul of the old ghost of the remaining poison. When the Lord of the Three Halls saw this scene, he couldn't help but worry. The remaining poison old ghost clearly wanted to drag him into the water at the cost of soul self-explosion. It's cruel to want to take me with you. However, in front of my soul-eating formula, it can only be wishful thinking. Before the words fell, the actions of the Three Hall Lord suddenly accelerated, and the fighting spirit in his body poured out like a river. In just a few breaths, the yin formula in the hands of the Three Hall Lord entered the final closing stage. The Three Hall Masters kept raising their hands, and their sharp nails crossed from the center of their eyebrows like sharp blades. A blood mark also appeared, and a drop of eyebrow effort also fell on the fingertips of the Three Hall Masters. Blood seal, coagulation. With a sharp drink, the blood-stained finger of the Three Hall Lord moved rapidly in the air in front of him. A very strange-looking blood amulet also condensed rapidly without hesitation. The Three Hall Lord slapped it out, and the blood amulet seal was also printed into the chest of the residual poison old ghost at that moment. Suddenly, a scarlet glare of blood rose from the old ghost of the remaining poison, and the source of the soul in the old ghost of the remaining poison was solidified at this moment. The face of the old ghost of the remaining poison turned pale at the moment when the blood seal appeared. When the blood talisman is printed, the gods and souls are afraid. This is the impression of people in Yuanwu mainland on the blood talisman. In front of the blood seal, unless your soul power is far beyond each other, it is the result of being suppressed. And the blood seal of the ghost break door has never missed. Jie, today, you will die after all. Swallow the spirit formula, swallow the sky and swallow the spirit. With a loud drink, the space in front of the Three Hall Lord burst, and the thick black paint fog swept out. In an instant, the soul of the remaining poison old ghost was wrapped in it and began to refine. At the same time, thousands of miles away, two figures of an old man and a young man are running towards the wild ancient city. Looking at this posture, it is the same as running for life. Suddenly, the old man was suddenly in shape, standing in the void, and his face suddenly became surprised. Elder, you. Don't say much, go. I won't last long. Get out of here and find a baby for me. Come on. Before the words fell, the old man had already fled to the distance with the young man in one hand. The old, the young, and the old were Shushan and his great-grandfather. After seeing the power of Xiao Yan, Shushan's great-grandfather quickly fled Yangluo city with him. As for the other members of the Shu family, they died in the city because of serious injuries. The only remaining members of the Shu family are Shushan's grandparents and grandchildren. And all this is just what happened in one day. One day ago, they were the real emperor-like life on Earth. In one day, the world is suddenly destroyed, and things are changeable. It's really pathetic and pathetic. In the distant sky, the fierce storm swept across the four directions, and a pure heaven and earth energy gathered down from a tornado like a pillar of the sky. At this moment, the dense and thick heaven and earth energy turned into a large pure energy liquid and poured into the shadow of the Taoist figure under the tornado. Such a vast landscape lasted for an hour, but the man under the tornado suddenly opened his eyes and looked down into the endless dark abyss. At this moment, there is an extremely terrible atmosphere, which is constantly gathering and climbing. It is so powerful and shaking the sky. Xiao Yan's slightly pale face also showed a deep and dignified color at the moment. At the moment, he has not recovered, but the two leaders of the three halls obviously had something that led to such a terrible breath. If he fought at this time, Xiao Yan may have no chance of winning. At present, this breath has become more and more powerful. Xiao Yan is afraid that it is too late to retreat. Since there is no retreat, the only way now is to fight here. That's what he thought. Xiao Yan also slowly stopped the burning dew skill still running in his body. His whole body suddenly shook and his body flashed. He stood in the void again, adjusted his state to the best, and quietly waited for the emergence of the two people below. Boom! A burst bang came from the endless abyss below Xiao Yan. The already profound void was broken again under this sound. Immediately, Xiao Yan saw a large lacquer black fighting light column with a width of 100 feet. In an instant, he crossed the constraints of space and came to Xiao Yan, and a blow came at Xiao Yan fiercely. Xiao Yan could not help but look surprised. I'm afraid the rapid bombardment is the three-hall lord at the peak, which he can't do at all. What happened? It seems that the old ghost of the remaining poison hasn't come out yet, but why is the breath of the three-hall lord so powerful? The idea flashed in his heart, but Xiao Yan didn't want to pay attention to those. The attack in front of him was already in front of him. It was only a distance of Zhongshu from Xiao Yan. Jianjuabu. Open. In a hurry, Xiao Yan was also swept out of his body. He moved at his feet and took the Qianjue step to the extreme in an instant. Without making any sound, the void space around Xiao Yan's body has been broken in an instant, and Xiao Yan's body shape has also disappeared in an instant, leaving a real shadow in place. Before the residual shadow disappeared, the startling blow suddenly hit the sky, and all the places past turned into a dead nothingness which made people feel a burst of panic and hard to erase. Jie? Xiao Yan, you must be in my bag today. I also advise you to make self-cultivation as soon as possible and go with me to avoid suffering from this flesh and blood again. Above the sky, Xiao Yan's body just appeared, and there was no action yet. A few feet away from it, the figure of the three-hall lord wrapped in the black fog had been revealed, facing Xiao Yan from afar, smiling at the dignified Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan also saw the three-hall lord at the moment of lifting his eyes. His dignified face became extremely heavy at this moment. In fact, the strength of the three-hall lord at the moment has long been far higher than before, and the breath is strong. I'm afraid it has reached the middle stage of the 8-star and half emperor, and the strength is far higher than Xiao Yan. Coupled with Xiao Yan's state at the moment, it's impossible to escape from the three-hall lord. The only way out for Xiao Yan at the moment is to sacrifice his life for a war. His luck is okay, and there may be a glimmer of vitality. Otherwise, he will come to an end. Just in a flash, thousands of thoughts flashed in Xiao Yan's heart. There was a decisive color in his eyes when he looked at the three-hall lord. Today's war is not the death of the three-hall lord, that is the fall of his Yan emperor. He will go all out in this war. With your understanding of me, do you think I will accept my fate? The lord of the third hall could not help frowning when he heard the speech, but even if he stretched out again, Xiao Yan's mind was very clear. Then the implication of Xiao Yan's words was to start a war. Jie, you really deserve to be the Yang Emperor Xiao Yan. This courage is really beyond the reach of people. I think it's you who can still be as powerful as a rainbow before life and death. Needless to say, I think your breath at the moment is 8.5 stars. Yes, but there is another strong breath in your body, which is still resisting. If I guess correctly, that breath belongs to the old ghost of residual poison. For the endless words of the third hall lord, Xiao Yan hooked the corners of his mouth, raised a sneer and said coldly. Emperor Yang is Emperor Yang. Our means are just like our understanding of you in front of you. There is no secret. But I've seen it a lot. You ghosts always like to steal souls. Jie, one day, you will understand that under the strong strength, all means are a way of survival. Before the words fell, the three-hall lord suddenly turned his hands across the air. His fierce black fighting spirit was like a sea tide. In an instant, he turned into a big hand in front of the three-hall lord, and one palm was roaring towards Xiao Yan. At the moment when the giant palm attacked, Xiao Yan's face had changed suddenly. The space around him was blocked by all the people at the moment when the giant palm attacked. Trying to avoid this blow was completely a fool's dream. Damn, it seems that we can only fight him head-on. Yellow spring palm. Dare not underestimate, Xiao Yan's mind moved. In the cyclone that still seemed empty in his body, a pure fighting spirit quickly moved to his palm along the skill route in Xiao Yan's body. With a violent drink, Huang Quan's palm was displayed by Xiao Yan and turned into a flame palm of Ling Qian in the wind. One palm pounded hard at the black palm of Ling Qian. Jia, at the moment, you have little fighting spirit left in your body. How can you fight with me with such a powerless palm? Cloud Devil's palm, broken. With a low cry from the main mouth of the three halls, the huge Ling Qian palm that had come to Xiao Yang suddenly spread a circle of thick black fog and collided with Xiao Yang's Huangquan palm. Click! A crisp sound came from the void, and the circle of black fog broke open, but a more terrible powerful qi came out. One blow was to break Xiao Yang's Huangquan palm in an instant. But even so, the momentum was still unabated, and rushed to Xiao Yang. When Xiao Yang saw this scene, his face suddenly became as if he could wring water out of the water, which seemed very dignified. Xiao Yang's momentum suddenly shook, and all the strange fires in his body poured out. He grasped them in the palm of his hand, and the endless strange fires turned into a large flame ruler out of thin air. Without hesitation, Xiao Yang held the flame giant ruler in one hand and closed it close to him. He held the ruler handle with both hands together. His arms moved suddenly. The gorgeous flame giant ruler circled around Xiao Yang's body rapidly. A strange fire barrier that looked like a real thing also appeared around Xiao Yang's body and protected Xiao Yang firmly. Liuhe swimming ruler. At the moment when the Liuhe swimming body ruler was just displayed, the strong energy also bombarded the different fire barrier. Boom! With a roar, Xiao Yang's horizontal and empty figure also couldn't help flying back thousands of feet. It was a little hard to stop his body. Even holding the giant foot's arm, he felt a sense of pain that he wanted to break his bone. Xiao Yang clenched his teeth and stared at the huge palm roaring towards him. His fighting spirit suddenly poured out, forcibly pressed down the pain on his arms, and waved the palm holding the huge ruler again. The huge ruler stood horizontally on Xiao Yang's side. His fighting spirit poured out of his palm and covered the whole huge ruler, making it look more gorgeous. Flames. Bite. Waves. Feet. Xiao Yang suddenly looked up to the sky and drank violently. Holding the huge palm of his hand, he suddenly swept across the huge palm of Ling Qian. A wave of strange fire with a width of 100 feet bombarded the huge palm with a towering terror. Boom! An earth-shaking explosion suddenly swept away between the two fighting skills, and then followed by a wave of towering waves, sweeping all directions with the power of heaven. The bodies of Xiao Yang and the three-hall lord were blown thousands of miles away by the waves. Xiao Yang's body was forced to stop in the void. Such a powerful force made the injury that Xiao Yang had been trying to suppress suddenly break out at the moment. And only at this time can they see clearly how powerful these two moves are after the explosion. The terrible explosion raised a mushroom cloud like an ancient tree in the center. Under the mushroom cloud, the world was completely shrouded in it. Because of the strange fire, half of the mushroom cloud is a blazing flame, and the other half is darkness enough to devour the void. Xiao Yang saw this, but his heart was tightened again. With his full strength, he could only break Ling Qianju's palm. If he went on like this, he was afraid that he would really die here today. Xiao Yang's figure flashed, and Tianzibu tried his best to show it. The already little fighting spirit in his body was squeezed out. His figure flashed quickly, holding a huge ruler in both hands, he threw his strength at the third hall lord. With the peak state of the three-hall lord at the moment, almost every action of Xiao Yang is seen by him. It is impossible for Xiao Yang to bang with him. However, the third hall lord looked at Xiao Yang's crazy face, but there was a sense of banter in his eyes. Drink. Xiao Yang completely ignored the feeling of almost collapse in his body. A little dizziness came from his mind, which was forced down by him. He threw his life at the third hall lord. Hum. The lord of the three halls gave a cold hum and stared at Xiao Yan. He ignored the oncoming flame giant ruler. When the giant ruler had reached the front door and the hot breath invaded the body, the three hall lord suddenly turned. The giant ruler was close to the front chest of the three hall lord and fell straight. When Xiao Yan saw this scene, he immediately felt a sense of danger, but his actions were obviously beyond his control at the moment, and the third hall lord also took advantage of this opportunity to slap it out and bombard Xiao Yan's chest. There was a hissing sound, mixed with several clear and audible sounds of bone fracture. Xiao Yan bowed and vomited a big mouthful of blood, and his body flew backward uncontrollably. The third hall lord obviously didn't want to let Xiao Yan go. Xiao Yan hasn't stopped his body. The figure of the third hall lord appeared behind Xiao Yan again and slapped him hard to meet Xiao Yan's body. Bang! With a bang, Xiao Yan's body turned around again and continued to shoot, just like a football. He kept shooting, and the blood was spitting out from Xiao Yan's mouth without money. At the moment, Xiao Yan has really reached the situation where the oil is exhausted and the lamp is dry. He can only be ruthlessly abused by the three hall masters. Bang! There was another bang, and Xiao Yan flew thousands of feet upside down. This time, the third hall lord never came. After all, in the view of the third hall lord at the moment, Xiao Yan could not escape from his palm. Since he had had enough, there was no need to continue. If Xiao Yan died, he might really be unable to explain to the above. Xiao Yan, however, was also trying to stabilize his body. His eyes looking at the three hall lord were full of cruelty, but under this cruelty, there was also some helplessness. Now, I'm afraid I can't care so much. Although I don't know whether it can work, I can only try my best. He tried to resist the pain and weakness caused by his serious injury. Xiao Yan clenched his teeth and made bursts of creak. Blood continued to overflow from the corners of the mouth, but the blood-stained palms slowly accumulated strength. Then, after a few breaths, the palms suddenly grasped, and the pain seemed to dissipate in an instant. The momentum was sudden for a while. The hands closed in front of the chest, and the fingers moved rapidly, and mysterious symbols were also played. The heart reads a move, the light in Xiao Yan's eyes is suddenly shocked, and the heart also sends out a violent drink. Family pattern now. This video will end here.